Glendive or Sydney or whatever, and then we have, you know, that quality level of instructor. And that's part of, I think, too, why in the past it's been a little bit appealing for us to go to Bozeman is, you know, Bozeman especially, even more than Billings, you know, they get these really good instructors and stuff for their continuing ed. And so you go to Bozeman and you're dealing with a national level presenter.
Right.
Where out here in Glendive, there's no way with 25 people in the room that we can pay a national presenter to get to Glendive, Montana.
And that's kind of why I would continue going to GRI as an alumni, because of the quality of educators. And it's not teaching you to pass a test, it's just like mold disclosures, lead-based paint. Something substantial.
And it's not realistic for us to bring those people here, but we can sure sit and watch them on a teleconference thing, you know, I mean, that'd be great.
Well, and, you know, it would be nice to use the technology that we've got available. But even that aside, if we had more communication as to what courses were being offered in Billings, in Bozeman. I mean, right now, I know of 2 courses in September and October because we got a flyer from Canoa Morton. Other than that, I don't know what's being offered in Billings. I still need my continuing ed. I don't know if I'm going to make it those 2 dates. So it's kind of like you know, start looking as to what else is being offered. And it's like if there was a website where classes were listed, and these are the classes being offered.
So if MAR had a consolidated website of what courses were offered across the state, so even if you were going on a trip with your family and I'm gonna be here and I can attend, okay, so that's the kind of stuff they wanna know, because I think, you know, you'll hear, usually the squeakier wheels will communicate, and then, you know, so they did get you technology, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, you know. And so I mean, if they feel like, oh, satisfied that one, you know, let's move on down the list. So we want to know the specifics, and if you have a situation where you don't know, and so if I'm always in meetings in Billings, I'm going to know about all the different courses that are going on. But and it seems like some of the regions, you know, the people who are involved know, you know, what's going on. But if you're widely dispersed geographically, I think that's where the issues come in. So that's an excellent recommendation.
Well, and I think to get back to where we started, is that we still need a more professional person coming into this business.
Yeah.
We need some additional pre-license training. The best place to get that is in some college, some decent college courses.
What were the other towns' thought on that?
I think at least 3, I try not to mention that because then that would be me putting words in your mouth. And I had at least 3 that said, yeah, I think that would be a great idea. And honestly, I've been at Carroll now, this is my 6th year, and I knew that they at once offered a real estate course. And so a gentleman who'd been in the industry for about 20 years said, oh yeah, I took that class, it was great. You know, I heard from, you know, mortgage lenders and, you know, I mean, just all through, so it kind of gave you a longer period to absorb that information. So that was the first time I heard it. He didn't make a recommendation at that time, but 2 other cities have recommended that that be the norm. And so, and yesterday in Billings, someone said, well, I know that 2 of our most successful brokers or supervising brokers actually have 4-year degrees in real estate. So I didn't know that they offered those places, but you know, I mean, that would be, you know, support for maybe taking at least 1 course, and then maybe, but I don't know. That would be something that the BRR would have to work out. You know, what do you would have to put together a criteria. What would that school need to offer? And then if you could offer it through some type of interactive online format, then people would be able to take it.
Well, it would have to be, or you would expect people to move and relocate.
Yeah. Right. And so I know with Carroll, I was at Black Hill State for 6 years, and then now I'm at Carroll, and they're just getting into that. And I was involved in that back you know, in the 2000s. And so now it's, you know, it's like they're, you know, they didn't have to think about it as much because you're not a state school. And, but I think that that's something that's really important, and it would help with your level of professionalism. The one thing I had, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there's certain areas where we have so many coming in. Someone in Billings said yesterday, oh yeah, a person who wants to be an agent came to me and said, oh, I hear there's a rep in Billings who makes $36,000 a month, or a realtor. And she said, are you kidding me? Like, you know, we're lucky if we make $36,000 the average salary, you know, per year. That would be really lucky. And, you know, and so so they recommended some type of like pre-licensing kind of seminar to say, here's what it really looks like. I mean, here's what you really need to do. Because if I had a father or a father-in-law or someone in the business, they're going to give me the real scoop, and I'm going to know exactly what's going on. But if all I see they kept referencing HGTV, you know, everybody looks and goes, oh man, that'd be so cool. And then they get out and they say, what do you mean I'm not going to make money for 3 or 6 months or more, and that I can't support my family on this, and that I have
to earn people's trust.
Yeah, exactly. And that it's not just going to
established.
happen.
Yeah.
And that's not even saying that the economy is going to be bad. I mean, that's just saying that, you know, something, you know, just didn't go through. And then I'm not going to have to go get a job at the convenience store because my contract fell through. So then are you looking at the rights of the customer, or the betterment of that customer? You're looking at, I need this money. So I don't know what that would look like either, but they said, geez, if you could just have here's what it really looks like, you know, in every region of the state would be different, but would that keep more people, you know, from just flooding the market like, hey, you know, I have a few extra hours a day, I want to be a realtor.
And that's one thing I think we ought to put some restriction on, is part-time agents.
Okay.
They're trouble.
Okay.
They're the ones that never learn the ropes. I
Okay.
don't care if I've got an agent that's working full-time in my office, that's one thing, the commitment they make.
Okay.
You're gonna be full-time or you're gonna go somewhere else.
Mhm.
Because I don't wanna have to gamble on your breaking the law,
Mhm.
even unintentionally,
Mhm.
simply out of the failure to stay on top of the issues.
Mhm.
And that's the biggest thing that we face,
Okay.
in my opinion.
How do you
Yeah.
differentiate between full-time and part-time? I
Uh,
mean, that's, because all of my guys are part-time, but they're all full-time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you, oh
I
yeah.
mean, and if somebody has to do what they need to do to still put food on the table, just because the market's slow, doesn't make them a lesser
No,
agent.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is a person who works on a weekend, who does real
My
estate.
guys work on weekends.
does
No,
real
we don't.
estate,
Tell you Sunday and that's coming to an end.
and whoever is legal talk business in town.
Yeah.
And
And I think
then
that's
all
probably
the
the other
other
thing
like
is
these.
to kind of,
having a loss.
Right.
yeah.
And I don't want any losses, I've been in enough of
Yeah, we
those.
don't.
There again, I think it would go back more to competency,
Yeah.
you know, what they know, ability, rather than if they're really part-time or full-time. It's more like that they have a level of competency
Well,
to know
broker owner discretion,
what
like,
needs to be done.
But with the law like it is now, that we have to deal with, we have to live with every day, if you're not here on top of it on a regular basis, you're gonna forget. And the issue is in the details.
Mhm.
That's where the devil lives.
That's why they hire us.
Mhm.
Sorry.
And part-time, I would say,
They
more
go to
hire
an
us
attorney.
because
I'm
we're
gonna come in and
supposedly
work
know
today, but
that.
don't call me for the next 2 weeks because I'm doing something else.
Hmm.
And then
She
show
can
up,
call me.
like, I'm gonna work today. I wanna find a buyer right now.
Mhm.
And it's like, well,
Well, if you've been in business long enough, you know how to overcome those obstacles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I think the
There are
higher we
some that
live,
it's just,
we raise that bar, the less those people are gonna be able to survive in this business, and that's good for the business.
Mhm.
It makes a profession out of it,
Mhm.
and it ought to be a profession.
Okay. Okay. So other recommendations for raising the bar, that MAR or BR can help BRR to.
Well, one thing that I think would be, and you kind of had mentioned this when you ran through your list in the beginning, but you mentioned about the rookie course. I will have to say that when the rookie course is done well, I think that has been the best course that new agents take in terms of actually learning practical application, like Joe mentioned, that you actually learn how to do stuff. So the rookie course to me is absolutely critical. And it, along with so many other things, it seems like if you look at education from BRR over the last 30 years, it's like with a lot of things, the more you do it, the longer you're in it, it kind of evolves and gets better and better and stuff.
Sure.
It doesn't seem like education from the Board of Realty has evolved over the last 30 years. And it just hasn't changed, it hasn't gotten better, it hasn't improved. And I know that a big part of that is the board has had some years where it's been an absolute disaster, and that has been part of the problem, the reason that maybe has been that way. But that rookie course is such a great thing. I think that should, definitely be there. It should continue to evolve. Now, last year, BRR didn't even offer the rookie course.
Right.
I mean, they didn't even have it available, even though it was a requirement of license. You
I don't
couldn't
think
take
they
the course
will,
from BRR.
at least it doesn't seem like they're going to,
Yes.
again, it's gonna be left up to the regions.
And the associations filled the gap, which
Right.
is great, but, somehow that should, be figured out or whatever, but.
Sure.
But the rookie course has always been kind of a very practical course for our new agents to take, and so I really think that should not only be there, but should be expanded on and improved, so.
But even
And I think
if,
another reason for that is that no matter what kind of college course on contracts or anything like that, you put a student through before their license, these are peculiar to the real estate business. The contracts they work with every day. And they need that rookie course to really get that in their head.
Right,
Because when they come back, then we're in a position then to
Reinforce.
carry them the rest of the way.
Sure.
But somewhere they've got to have a concentrated education on that. And if that's 12 hours, that's 12 hours.
yeah, and that's about what it is, it's a
Yeah,
day and a
right.
half, and
And that's their
6,
first year's continuing it, and that's super.
yeah,
well,
Couldn't be
when
anything better, in
somebody
my
comes
opinion.
out with their license in real estate, you should not have to start with, this is a contract.
Yeah,
No,
If both people sign it, that is legally binding.
yes.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Legally
That's
binding means.
not what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's not what I'm
That's-
talking about. And I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a general course on contracts. Takes care of all of that knowledge that you need, just to understand what it means when you say contracts, if nothing else. But then you need to have a real intensified course on real estate contracts specifically as identified by MAR.
But if there was a requirement to have taken and passed a basic business law course.
Yes,
And basic business math
right,
course.
exactly.
Then the rookie course, in order to get a license, then the rookie course could be concentrated more.
Absolutely.
Instead of having to start at the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
And,
Oh, I
and
agree
courses
totally.
are available online. You can take college courses. I have an aunt who's an instructor for Phoenix. I mean, they work.
and you could,
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be a limitation, I mean, it would just have to be a regulation, I mean,
No.
someone would have
Yeah.
to say, you could take it at this location, but it would have to be an approved 3-credit course, and,
And I agree with Lisa that having to have a college degree is maybe, because it is nice for somebody not to have a degree to be able to
start.
have a
No,
profession.
And
Yeah.
especially not to
But-
say like you have to have an associate's degree, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's in aviation or
Yeah,
whatever.
just sure,
You
yeah.
have to have an
Right.
associate's degree,
Right.
that's not right.
Yeah. But when you got your license, having to take an online course wouldn't have been a
So,
deterrent, yeah.
what I heard
Um,
for the first time ever in Hamilton was that new, older brokers who started 20+ years ago. They needed a sponsoring broker when they were going to be an agent.
Oh,
They
yeah.
needed a sponsoring broker. So is that something, so all of a sudden I approach Leif and I say, I wanna, go sit for my license, and I wanna be an agent, and you agree that I can shadow you, but at the same time, I want you taking the college level course prior to you. So maybe in that semester, I learned that this is not what I wanna do, and then you're not gonna have the turnover. So I don't know here, I don't know if there's a high level of turnover, but it seems like Billings, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's like, it's
Everyone.
very, very high.
And they're not.
Yeah,
One-
so is it,
Well, one thing that, that there is the deal where, you can't have your license without me being responsible for you, so,
Yeah.
so there is that, but in terms of getting to that a little sooner, there isn't anything. In Sydney, I don't know if it's this way here, but, usually if someone in Sydney is kind of interested in being in real estate, usually they will go to one of the real estate offices and talk to the owner and visit a little bit, and then we can kind of educate them a little bit about what it means to be a real estate agent, and that, the biggest misconception that I run into is people think, you drive around and show people houses. That's being a real estate agent. Right away I tell them, well, that's about 5% of the job. But one thing that, in our area we just don't have, and we just don't have the resources to do, but when you get to the little bigger areas, what's probably going to be my future son-in-law started with a real estate company in Fargo here just about 6 months ago, and to be an agent, and they have a really impressive program for a new agent that walks in the door. They have a whole timeline that goes for 2 years on how he gets to a full-blown agent at the end of 2 years. And in the beginning, he actually, there's certain things he does that help him learn the business. He gets paid a regular paycheck to do them
Is this through the company then?
through the company.
That he's
So
with?
this company has this program, so it's not through the state or anything. And,
but it's a paycheck.
he
So
gets a
he-
regular
That would
pay,
be
and
nice to be
then
able to afford it.
Yeah,
Is
I
it-
know.
Because they're learning.
goes to this, and then when he gets to this point, he becomes what they call a showing partner. So he works together with a full-blown agent and helps them show properties, open houses, and then from a showing agent to a full-blown agent, it's a 2-year timeline. And as he goes through the different steps, his pay becomes more and more commission-based. So I mean, something like that would be fantastic, but
It's gonna take a
That would
large
be-
agency to do
Right,
that.
Yeah.
you just can't do
Could you
that.
do that?
Legal properties, no way.
Okay.
You can't.
Right.
do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Coldwell Banker could do that.
Right.
yeah. But
And that's what they
ideally,
do in a commercial, if you wanna be a commercial agent, that's the way they take you through.
yeah. But ideally, I mean, it is limiting. So you guys don't have turnover here, are you? No?
Somebody.
And the attitude that I ran into, I ran into the attitude in MAR, when I was a regional DVP, that the small agencies in the state are where the problems are,
Okay.
not in the large ones, because we train our people, we have a training program, and I got into a little bit of a disagreement with that statement.
Okay.
It's not the smaller agencies that are the problem. It's the ones that don't belong, that aren't realtors, because they don't feel like there's any reason to adhere to a code of ethics. And so they say, yeah, you got your license, go sell property. And you're on your own,
Yeah.
You don't even have to come around here, just do it on your kitchen table. And that is trouble,
Okay.
big time.
So I
So-
remember one of the funniest conversations, at one of the first meetings I was at in Helena had to do with mediation. And it's like, well, who does your mediation?
We avoid it.
You know, you can have a mediator.
That's why we
Well,
have slippery
when
roads.
was your, when was your last mediation? Well, there hasn't been one since I've been in real estate. Well, how about arbitration?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not even real sure what